Woohoo! It is July 21st, 2026, and we just came back from launching Trilivy. So, this week we are going to be reading in The Habits of Health, and we are in section 2.8, which in my book is page 315. And here we go. All right, 2.8, healthy eating for life, your transition to permanent health. Your discipline throughout phase 1 has paid off. You've reached a healthy weight, which is the first important milestone on the path to creating optimal health. And that means you're ready to transition to part 2. In part 2, we'll start by expanding and developing the eating plan you used during part 1 to create a strategy you can use for life. Part 2 is also the time to learn how to make many of the daily choices that will assist you on your journey to optimal health. First, let's review the habits of health you've learned so far, which formed the foundation for the success to come. In this part, you're going to do habits of healthy weight management and the habit of healthy eating and hydration. So who do you want to become? And here's the foundation. Be slim. B is for breakfast. E is for exercise. S is for support. L is for low glycemic, moderate calorie meals every 3 hours. And these things are for life. Be slim is for life. Breakfast, exercise, support, low glycemic. I is for individual plan, and M is for monitoring. So be slim. 6 of the habits of health you're learning while you're losing weight spell out the acronym Be Slim. It's a tool I created to help you begin to focus and understand some of the key behaviors essential to maintaining a healthy weight. Now we're going to take these beginning steps and start developing them into your comprehensive long-term optimal health plan. Breakfast. By now, you're in the habit of beginning each day with a healthy breakfast, which may be in the form of a portion-controlled meal. It's an important routine that's critical for long-term weight loss, according to the National Weight Control Registry. Exercise. As your weight has decreased, and I am sure you're feeling much better, perhaps you've started adding more activity, using the stairs instead of the elevator, for example. I saw Raquel do that at the huge, what were we on, level 10, I think, and she went down all the stairs to run down to go to the yoga. Perhaps you've started adding more activity, using the stairs instead of the elevator, for example, or taking a dog for a walk, which Kevin just came back from. If you've been in part 1 for a while, we're just healthy people. Isn't that fun? We just do these things now. I love that. Okay, I will get back to this. You may have started learning my progressive movement systems for sustainable exercise, as outlined in part 2.9 to 2.12. Whatever your current level of physical ability, my plan is designed to give you an easy entry into the world of fitness. You've been hearing me talk about the relatively minor role exercise plays in weight loss. Well, that was true in the beginning of part 1, but increasing your activity level becomes very important as you move from part 1 into part 2 and beyond. And again, about week 3 in program, it's time to start moving more. It's foundational. Yes, you need to give your body 2 weeks to really get into a good, strong fat burn and trust you that but you can start moving. You can start getting 10,000 steps, at least 10,000 steps a week, but you can get 8,000 steps a day. You can do these things even in the weight loss phase. Just don't overexert to sweating and breathing part. After the first 3 weeks of part 1, and here he says, see, after the first 3 weeks of part 1, your body is ready for increased motion. You're lighter, You have more confidence, you're physically healthy, you have the right motivation, and you're in the process of installing the habits of healthy transformational system. My Neat and Eat plan for physical movement are doable and are designed to fit your current level of health and fitness. Over time, these systems will put you on track for long-term success. And if you want an easy breakdown of those, I think they're 15 and 16 in your life book for the Neat and the Eat system. And those you can read very easily, very fast. Okay, S is for support. I'm a big believer in seeking help on your journey to optimal health and well-being. While I can serve as your immediate mentor through this book and your life book, connecting with a coach like a healthcare professional or trained coach can add tremendous value. We discussed this in detail in part 1.7, optimizing your surroundings, creating your microenvironment of health. Additionally, your family, friends, weight loss buddy, or a group can be helpful encouragement and moral support. This is all a part of developing your habits of health, healthy surroundings, macro habits that are embedded throughout the rest of the book. Low glycemic meals every 3 hours. You're now in the habit of eating smaller meals every 3 hours, which is a very powerful habit of health. And lower unhealthy fat, moderate calorie eating has been shown to be a key factor in long-term weight management. This is a great time to review the lessons of the healthy eating. In fact, there will never be a better time. You're feeling better, you're turning into a proper motivation and healthy choices, and you're learning how to choose and prepare foods to support your health. Your permanent eating strategy now includes meals that are low glycemic, satisfy your hunger, control your calorie intake, contain healthy fats in moderate amounts, keep to a 3-hour eating schedule. These basic behaviors form the key habits of health that you'll need to keep in mind as you head into part 2. Now, as you begin your transition, you're going to expand the food choices available to you while keeping within the healthy guidelines, and add calories to your 3-hour meals until you reach an equilibrium between your energy in and your energy out. That's how we'll make our healthy eating system into a complete plan that teaches you how to eat for a lifetime of health. Individual plan, the I in Be Slim. Now that you're past the initial weight loss stage, you're ready to build a permanent plan that gives you control over your energy intake and long-term strategies for life. Each of us is a little different, and it is this curiosity and openness to learn and grow that will put you in control of those 200 food choices you make every day for the rest of your life. 200 food choices a day. Monitor. You've become used to checking your weight weekly. Keeping an eye on your energy balance, calorie balance, helps you make sure you're not loading fat. Now that you've solidified your understanding of these key habits of health, let's look ahead to see what's next. Learning how to use these important new behaviors to maintain your weight loss and build optimal health for life. I'm actually going to read the sidebar on the left. Monitor your weight and measurements regularly. This is a very important part of staying healthy. Monitoring your weight, waist measurements, and if possible, your percentage of body fat are important surveillance tools that provide an accurate picture of your current reality. Remember, the scale and tape measure are your friends. Here are some tips. Set up a regular schedule for weighing and measuring. I believe that once a week is the most reliable schedule for tracking a trend, but daily is fine, especially during transition. Weigh and measure yourself in as little clothing as possible. Weigh and measure yourself on the same scale and at the same time of day. Most people are at their lowest weight in the early morning. Use my favorite technique to check inches and weight. Monitor yourself regularly by trying on a favorite pair of jeans or pants. whose proper fit you know well. If you have to get on the bed and hold your stomach in, you'll know you're putting on weight and need to adjust your calorie accordingly. He's so funny. All right, back to the book. The two keys to maintaining your healthy weight. Dum dum dum. The same. These are two main reasons why most diets fail. Excuse me. Usually it comes in three. Excuse me. A lack of understanding of energy balance and a lack of understanding of proper motivation. These are huge. So, lack of understanding of energy balance. Understand that's really paying attention to your calories in, calories out, because by then you'll be in that instead of the fat burning state. And also, we've got to understand the macronutrients: protein, carbs, and fats. And the fats, we want to be really careful to understand the healthy fats and use healthy fats most of the times. Carbs, we want to pay attention to, the glycemic index. And most of the time, choose lower. Protein, we know that there's healthier proteins, and recognize if you're using a fattier one, you don't need as much of that healthy fat. And that's a balance that you'll learn forever, but you're going to learn more about those. In the beginning, we had to have it simple so it was sustainable. Choose this protein, choose this fat and this much fat, and choose these carbs. Now we have to understand it. That's why he digs deep into it and why we've been working through the book. But you got to understand that balance or it's not sustainable. And then proper motivation. Again, that's why we're in the community looking and understanding and really taking those in for ourselves so that we can change our identity to a healthy person. So, 1, energy balance. The first key to maintaining your healthy weight. The fat cells in your body use energy. When you lose weight, you decrease your metabolic demands because your fat cells empty and you have less energy needed to run them. As a result, you experience a lower level of daily energy expenditure. If you simply go back to your old pre-diet eating habits, as dieters often do, your energy needs will be out of balance, and your new, lighter body will be taking in more energy than it can use. So recognize we can never go back to the calories that we did previously. And we can never go back to the foods that we did previously, because if we do, we're just going to put the weight back on. We're going to feel right back how we were previously. We're going to go right back into metabolic dysfunction. And when you're tiny, you just don't burn as many calories. And even if you're putting on muscle, which most of us are using the program where we are creating more muscle, and muscle burns more calories than fat. But, and as a result, your weight can balloon. It's the classic yo-yo pattern, which is caused by an ever-widening gap between energy in and energy out. Even worse are unbalanced diets that lower calories so severely that your body is forced to cannibalize its own muscle, or diets designed to fabricate weight loss by manipulating macronutrients such as fats and carbohydrates, thereby producing an imbalance in the amount of energy you take in from each group. Diets like these are hard to sustain. The body isn't shy about letting you know it has a macronutrient deficit. And soon enough, the cravings will begin. Even if you do manage to stay with one of these diets long enough to lose some weight, once the diet is over, it's off to the races to replenish that deficit. That's why a low carbohydrate diet has no chance of long-term success. Nature knows best. We have talked a lot about how we can control our overall weight by paying attention to the quantity and the quality of food we eat. In the next section, we will begin looking at how we can increase your energy expenditure, as this is essential for long-term weight control, optimal health, and longevity. Let's spend a moment talking a little more about how our body regulates our weight from a central command control. There's a very complex system that helps us keep our weight within a fairly close range, or set point. It's easier to explain by thinking of the thermostat that determines your room temperature in your heating and air conditioning system. It's known as body set weight. In medical literature, it's called the apostat or obostat. We have many different feedback loops that work extremely well when we are not overwhelming the body with huge meals of sugar, flour, saturated fat, and other ultra-processed foods. From stretch receptors and satiety hormones, leptin is released, which stimulates hunger. When the stomach is stretched, secretion stops. Little side note on the side, Dr. A says, a habit of health, monitoring your weight and measurements regularly. Back to the reading. These satiety mechanisms make a lot of sense from a survival point of view. Our body is designed to stay within a certain body fat parameters. If you are too skinny, you will die during the hard times of famine or winter. And if you are too fat, you will not be able to catch food. And you might just get eaten yourself because you cannot avoid capture. The following illustration shows how the body would adjust. The right side shows when somebody is getting too heavy and leptin levels increase to decrease appetite and raise energy expenditure. This little graph there. On the left, it shows how when we are too thin, we turn off leptin to increase appetite and slow down movement to conserve energy. So why is this important to know? In the world we live in, the problem is almost always being too heavy because of the obesogenic conditions. Let's look closer at these metabolic switches. The two key players in determining your set point are leptin and our old friend insulin. Just like the heat and cool elements of your HVAC system, these two hormones help regulate your set point. When we have eaten a meal and the body has adequate energy, the fat cells release leptin to tell the body it's full and to stop eating. In addition, it tells the body to be more active. This mechanism is represented on the right side of the illustration. So body set weight thermostat and the weight control balance. So yeah, again, here's the little chart. However, if you are eating food that stimulates high insulin, it tells the fat cells to overstuff and store more and more energy as fat. These two hormones that control body fat percentage have directly opposite effects on our energy management system. As you can see, if you increase the set point or push the red arrow, it shifts to the left, and we create a new higher set point. This would be helpful if we moved to a colder climate. If we need to naturally lower our set point or push the green arrow, we shift to the right side and leptin wins. If leptin wins, then we were able to reduce appetite and increase basal metabolic rates sufficiently to burn off excess calories being eaten. Look at the following illustration. Okay, so basal metabolic rate, that's the one that's on your Rimpo scale. Sorry, guys. That is, there's 3 in your total energy expenditure. Remember, we've learned this as we read through this. One of them is your basal metabolic rate. That's the amount of calories that your body burns just if you were to lay and not do anything. That's, my goodness, that's how many calories your body would burn with nothing. So, there's also one where you burn for exercise. There's another one that you burn for, I don't remember. I'd have to look those up. But just recognize that basal metabolic rate on the scale, that's not all the calories that you burn. So don't think that since it says like whatever 1400 or whatever, don't think that's your total energy expenditure. You still have to add the other two in there to know how many calories, because we have to watch if you're exercising, you're going to burn a few hundred calories more. On a non-exercise day, you're not going to have those calories to burn. And I think the other one is your organs, independent, I don't know, something. Yeah. Anyways, there's 3 of them. So I don't know why I had to go up on the basal metabolic rate, but okay. Body set weight thermostat. Habits of healthy eating keeps you in the green. And there's a chart there. So as we eat the wrong foods and we stimulate insulin, the size of the fat cells increase, just like we were talking about, that they go down. Now they're going to fill back up and increase. And this stimulates an increase in the release of leptin. This signals the brain to decrease the appetite, which then causes our body to eat less. If you start eating the right foods, as outlined in the Habits of Healthy Eating strategy, your set point will lower itself naturally. You'll stay healthy and in the green zone, which will help you maintain a consistent energy balance. And the natural balance between your insulin and your leptin will stay in a healthy range without you having to think too much about it. But when you continue to eat unhealthy foods, your set point will increase and you'll reach hyperinsulinemia, which prevents leptin from doing its job. Hyperinsulin, that word, tells us to eat more and sit on the couch. Your leptin levels will continue to rise because of the increased level of fats. It won't be effective. You'll eventually develop leptin resistance as well as your insulin resistance, and your weight will cascade out of control. See the following illustration. We're going to stop right there and recognize that's part of that yo-yoing. But the cool thing is our body can heal. We're proving that right now. That's what's happening as you are becoming this person and doing the things that you're doing and becoming the person that does this on a regular basis. I wish I could see how much my body healed this last year. But I know those first 3 years, it was huge how much my body healed. Our cells are always replacing themselves. And it's just crazy when you read that. There's a chunk in here that talks about that, how it's like every 3 months your body has recreated all of these little cells. And by the time it's 3 years, it's like as if you never, ever lived the habits of disease. If you live this way. And what is living this way? It's not a diet. It's living the way that our body was meant to live for the rest of our lives. Do you want to thrive? Or do you want to eat stuff that doesn't serve the body? Do you want to thrive? Or would you rather sit on the couch? Do you want to thrive? Or do you want that, living with people who damage who you are? Thinking about all the habits. How do you want to thrive? Or do you want to stay up till all hours and then get up early and not get your sleep? Do you want to thrive, or do you just want to drink pop all day and no water? Do you want to thrive, or do you, it really is that. But I really think about that amount of time that I've been healing. It's 11 years. August 11th will be 11 years that I hit my healthy weight. And I'm not saying it's been perfect since then, but I'm saying that I'm growing and I keep striving for greater health 11 years later. That's the healing piece. And it's not just physically, it's this piece here. Some of the things that I've navigated over the last 11 years, but recognize for the last 11 and a half years, I've been in this book for 30 minutes a week, right here with you guys, whether I'm by myself or whether you're here or whether you're not, I'm here. And there's other times that I read, but that is my rock in my schedule because I have to have the education. I have to have balanced nutrition. I have to have a community that's holding me accountable. I have to be in the community. I have to have a coach that I can reach out to. You know, all of those things are part of my identity now. All of those things are part of me being a healthy person for the rest of my life. So, um, so thanks for being here because that's
I
very
wish you were here, TJ, 30 years ago when I was skinny and I could just maintain, instead of now having to go back and start all over from the beginning. It is just so awesome to read through the book and to see, the science that I've always been wondering about, to see how everything works. It's cool.